There it is. The old Marshall Jail. Hotel. Look at there.
So a lot of this stuff was this original, and then, you know, we spent 5 years in here transforming it.
Wow, this is pretty neat. You've done a good job on this.
Exposed the old mechanism. This is probably the greatest design triumph of the whole project as far as the adaptive reuse. This was one of the cells. So there was actually 4 beds in here.
Now, is this original right here?
Yeah.
Al was here?
Yeah, I can tell you this story if you want to get it on tape.
Yeah.
I found the file for the Turpin case and actually learned that one of the guys that they killed was Benny Hudgens. Built this whole lighting display out of the old beds.
Very
from
creative.
The jail.
Very
Super
creative. Of course, that view.
Yeah, the view is
that.
what it's all about. Bailey's Branch used to be the drunk tank. Yeah, so the handrail, these are the bars that we cut out of the windows.
The courthouse right here. Definitely one of the most interesting things here in town. The historic town of Marshall in Madison County is nestled between rocky cliffs and the scenic French Broad River. And it's about 20 miles from Asheville. Its main street is lined with original buildings, including the 100-year-old courthouse, and is home to eclectic shops, restaurants, breweries, artists, studios, galleries, music venues, and some unique places, I guess you could say, to stay. Madison County was formed in 1851 from Buncombe and Yancey counties and was named for President James Madison. The county seat of Marshall, originally called Lapland, was named for U.S. Chief Justice John Marshall. Marshall was an important stop on the Buncombe Turnpike, or Old Drover's Road. They used the turnpike to commute up and down the road that stretched from South Carolina to Tennessee to markets in all of the regions there. Thousands of drovers with their hogs, sheep, horses, mules, turkeys passed through Marshall along the French Broad River each year. Everybody, welcome to Marshall, North Carolina.
Yes, it's a cold winter day.
Yeah, it's historic.
Yeah, it's such a historic little place, and you're going to be amazed at some of the stuff we've got to tell you and share with you.
Hang in here, guys. We're going to show you the old jail that is now a hotel where you can stay, and restaurant.
Yes.
And we get a tour of it.
Yes.
So much history.
Yes, and it's the oldest jail from...
The state of North Carolina.
Yeah, in the state of North Carolina.
And back there's the courthouse, 100 years old, I believe they said.
Yes.
So let's go show you around a little bit.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to show you the jail, and we're here on a Sunday, so most everything else is closed. But
Yes.
we're just parked right here. Now here's Marshall Main Street Cafe. Zuma Coffee. With that courthouse. Looks closed, doesn't it? This is it right here. Zadie's Market Deli is around that way. And this is the old Marshall Jail, and now it's a hotel and a bar sitting right here on the river. That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's look out here. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Boy, the train is close right here. You know what? I mean, look how close the train is right here. Huh? You believe that? The old Marshall Jail, established in 1905. Oh man, look at this. Hotel. Look at that passageway there. That is just plumb cool, isn't it? And check this out. This is Jail Intake Ledger. Handwritten ledger, 1970s. All right, tell us a little bit about yourself and the jail here.
Yeah, my name's Josh Kopis. I'm an artist and a creative entrepreneur, and this is the old Marshall Jail in Zadie's Market, which is a restaurant and a bar. And then we have an art hotel that we made in the old jail. Upstairs, this was the oldest operational jail in the entire state of North Carolina, opened in 1905 and closed in 2012, and then me and my wife and some of our friends bought it at a property auction from the county in 2016. We spent 5 years renovating it and transforming it into what you see today.
Look at there.
Yeah, so in the jail there we have a lot of characters in the history of the building, but the most famous is E.Y. Ponder, Elmas Yates Ponder. He was the sheriff of Madison County for 32 years. He was first elected in 1950, and then he actually lost an election in 66, and then won again in 70, and then was finally defeated by Didrik Brown in 1986. And he's a very interesting character, and I really like learning a lot about EY and his legacy. And actually, when we started the restaurant downstairs, we wanted to kind of honor that in a way that wasn't overly overt. And so actually our restaurant is called Zadie's, and Zadie was EY's father. And that's where we came up with that name. So Zadie and Emma were EY's parents, and they were pillars in the community, and we really liked the old mountain names, so that's where we came up with Zadie.
Cool. Was any family still around town?
Oh man, they're here.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm friends with all of them.
So we don't know if he carried a gun or not, but he always wore a suit.
He always wore a suit, and I'll tell you a funny story. Right here on this staircase, there was a prisoner that was actually quite good friends with EY, and was in the jail quite often, in and out, and that his name was L.H. Cutshaw, and people said that he was in and out so much that he had his own key. But EY always wore a tie too. Anyways, there was one day, Jackie Ball told me this story, and he was there when it happened, so he would know. But EY had got this guy that was had lost his mind. It was a big guy, and EY and Jackie were trying to bring him up the stairs, and EY's kind of a small guy too, and the guy turned on EY and got him by the tie and was choking him out and almost killed him. And LH actually was in jail over here, and then run out and jumped, got that guy off of EY, saved his life. And then the funny part of the story is, once EY kind of got his breath and got settled in, and they got the guy in the jail, LH said, "You know, EY, you ought to switch to clip-on ties." And the story, as I've heard it, is that from that day on, EY only wore clip-on ties from that
time on.
Yeah, but they called him the last old-time mountain law man.
Yeah. Now, where would his office have been?
So down in the bar, where the bar is now, that was EY's office. It was really like the lobby, but that's where, it's just like where all the action was.
You're right.
So this would have been EY's office in here.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about the jail is that it served a lot of functions. And so it was really like a gathering place, if you can imagine that. Like all the old timers that I talked to say people would just come and sit and talk.
Yeah.
And EY would be over here. He had a little desk right here and the telephone. And then there's a whole row of seats there where just old timers would come and just hang out, talk.
Was there a potbelly stove in here somewhere?
Well, by the time EY took it over, they had a radiator system.
Okay.
So originally, the jail had 5 chimneys and would have been heated probably with coal stoves.
Is a train coming this close right here?
That's it. That's an active train line.
Oh.
Yep. So it comes through about 3 times a day.
Wow.
It's hard to say when.
Right.
But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's right there.
That shakes the building, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty loud. But the guests in the hotel don't mind it. Like everyone really enjoys it.
Man, this is pretty neat. Man, you've done a good job on this.
Yeah. Thanks. So this mechanism, this was the door to the cell, and we transformed it, cut everything up, shifted it around, exposed the old mechanism. This is probably the greatest design triumph of the whole project as far as the adaptive reuse. So we ended up moving the handle from over there to here and rerouting it. And this is still activated and works. And instead of the door to the cell, it's now a pocket door to the pantry.
Loved just how industrial this
Yeah. We really leaned into the industrial, modern aesthetic.
This particular room would have been several cells.
So this was the day room. So the cells were here. And again, this was the original door.
Okay.
And like this door, we moved from over there.
Right.
So we changed the wayfinding. So basically, cut this out and re-welded, made a jam, took this door from over there, cut the hinges off, and then re-welded them over here, and then moved this door to here.
Very cool.
So now this is the door to the bathroom. But this is an original door that was in the building. And it weighs about 450 pounds. But the hinge technology is pretty incredible. Like you can operate it with one hand.
Oh, let's
it's
see.
so smooth.
Yeah.
And then this was one of the cells. So there was actually 4 beds in here and a toilet. So the beds were 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the door was here, and so we transformed it into the bathroom. And everything is custom. Twin bed.
Up on the loft up there,
Yeah, and if you want, you can get really good footage from up top and like pan through the room. And then,
loft. There's a bed there.
The sheriff's suite is, we can go in there also. It's pretty cool from up there.
That is neat. That's some big old beams right there.
Man.
That was the Backstreet Suite.
Yep, Backstreet Suite. So there's 4 suites and then 2 bunk rooms.
Okay.
And Bailey's Branch used to be the drunk tank.
Oh, really?
Yep. And all the suites have private baths and kitchenettes. And then the bunk rooms have a shared bath in the hallway.
Okay, and this to my right is one of the bunk rooms.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple.
Right.
And
cool.
Again, that was a jail cell.
Right. That's neat.
Yeah.
And then here's a bunk room.
Yep.
And they share this bathroom.
And then look at the balcony there. That is cool.
Yeah. The deck is really awesome. It's a highlight.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah, so the handrail, these are the bars that we cut out of the window. So the whole handrail was site fabricated by me and 2 friends of mine. And these were all the bars that we cut out of the windows, all the cages from the jail. Here too, these people are not here
Okay. So he's going to show us in this other room here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this was the sheriff's office.
Oh, okay.
And this was added in the 90s.
This was EY.
Well, this was actually after EY.
Oh, okay.
So EY is our most famous sheriff. He was the sheriff for 32 years, and he lost an election in 1986 to Dedrick Brown.
Okay.
And Dedrick Brown built the addition.
Okay.
Yep. And it was originally a single story, and then he added the second story, and then this was the office for the sheriff. And when we bought it, we kind of basically like tore it down and then rebuilt it exactly where in the same footprint. It was like, much.
Of course, that view.
Yeah, the view is
That.
what it's all about. It's the best view in the house.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and then I make all the ceramics.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You're an artist.
Look here, he made all these. That's
Yeah.
nice. Now, do you sell any of this online?
Yeah. I actually don't sell online directly, but I have galleries that represent me.
Okay, all right.
Just phone.
Well, before we're going, we can tell everybody where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, is this original right here?
Yeah.
I was here.
Yeah, I can tell you this story if you want to get it on tape.
Yeah.
So, one of the big goals of this project was to actually create a living museum to the jail's history. So we wanted the space to be relevant to the contemporary world and contribute to the economic growth of the town. That's why we made the hotel and the restaurant. But we also wanted it to be an experience where people could come and like learn about the history of the building and the place. Anyways, this is I Was Here, Benny Hudgens, 5/17 and 18, 1970. And this is actual jail graffiti that I discovered in the paint removal process. So this was buried underneath like tons of other paint. And during the renovation, I was just like pressure washing the walls and it just like appeared.
Yeah.
And then the crazy part of the story is, so I started trying to figure out who Benny Hudgens was. And I got really into this photograph, which is Turpin and Cruz leaving the Madison County Courthouse on the day that they were convicted of a double homicide on October 24th, 1977. And actually a member of the community that's really close to us, donated a bunch of the old sheriff's documents, EY Ponder, and there were boxes of stuff. And actually one night, late at night, when I was going through the papers of EY, I found the file for the Turpin case and actually learned that one of the guys that they killed was Benny Hudgens. And they stole $8 in money from him and feloniously, willfully, and of malice afterthought did kill and murder Benny Hudgens.
Wow.
So this guy was in jail for 2 nights in 1970, and then 7 years later he was murdered by these guys. Wow. And then Turpin tried to go back to California, and he actually got caught siphoning gas in Colorado. And EY drove out there to extradite him back. And this is EY's expense report from his trip to get Turpin in Colorado.
Wow.
This is the hotel where EY stayed in Cripple Creek. And then this is actually the tag for the murder weapon. And all that stuff was in a barn in Little Pine. And these are EY's field notebooks from the 70s. So these are probably our most valued objects. They're incredible.
Wow.
We did a series of installations with bricks that we made by hand. So this is the whole history of the building itself, written into the walls. And then this is every sheriff in Madison County history in chronological order. From the founding of the county to Buddy Harwood, who actually is still the sheriff. These are the old beds. So we did a lot of adaptive reuse stuff with the materials and built this whole lighting display out of the old beds.
Very
from the
creative.
jail.
Very
Super
creative. Yeah.
It is.
And we noticed the room here to the left is visiting.
Yeah, this was the visitation room, and right now it's a tiny museum.
Mm-hmm. Would you come and see me if I was in jail?
Yeah. Mom, send some money so I can get back home.
Yeah.
And we have these are some of my favorite historical artifacts. These are the actual hacksaw blades that Omar Smith used in his 1996 escape through the roof. And I found these in the attic during the renovation.
Really?
And Omar is actually a friend of mine, and he lives like 5 minutes down the road. And I showed them to him, and
He told you the story.
he confirmed, well, I knew the story, but he confirmed that these are actually the ones that he used. Because he asked me, he said, "Where'd you find them?" And I was like, "They were in the attic," and he said, "That's right where I left them." So,
More seating this way.
yeah, this is our more dining area.
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, how can people get in touch with you if they'd like to stay here?
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch with us if you're interested in staying at the hotel, which I would highly recommend, we primarily do direct bookings through our website, which is oldmarshalljail.com. That's the best and easiest way to book, but we also use Airbnb as a platform for that. And the hotel has 4 suites that all have private baths and kitchenettes in them, and then there's 2 bunk rooms that have a shared bath in the hallway.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking
Yeah.
the time to show us around.
Oh, definitely. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Here's my personal card that's for the pottery.
Okay.
But if y'all need to get in touch with me for any reason, okay?
There it is. The Old Marshall Jail Hotel and Bar. All right, Josh, thank you, man. That was awesome, wasn't it?
That was.
Y'all do go check them out online. There's a lot of history. Those of you that follow us and you're into history, little quaint town here in Marshall, right on the river.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if I got it on video, but the train comes, I showed you those tracks earlier, comes right by there 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I mean,
right
it
by
was,
the hotel.
you could almost reach out and touch the tracks. It was crazy. So, okay, so that's looking back toward Asheville that way here in town. And we tried to pick out what we felt like was one of the most interesting things about the town, and that was the jail. Look at that right there. Roberts, 1922. And of course the courthouse right here. Definitely one of the most interesting things here in town. And then this is looking the other way. I wonder why this is missing here. Interesting.
Yeah, looks like it had been there.
Yeah. And all this up here is gone. Look at this. You don't see these anymore, do you? Look at that.
Looks like it had been in there and there was glass covering it or something.
Mm-hmm. This is reserved for the judge. I dare you to park in this spot right here. Anybody? Right there. That's for the judge. We don't know the judge. Look at that. Robert's Pharmacy and Rexall Store. They closed at 3.
Right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us in this historic little nice, cute railroad town, I guess.
Runs right along the river here.
Yes, of Marshall, North Carolina, just in the western North Carolina, near the Blue Ridge Parkway.
And actually, it's not far from Asheville, maybe 20 miles.
Yes.
But definitely you want to come here and hang out and drive through at least.
Yes.
If not, spend the night in the old jail.
Yes.
And maybe eat in the cafe across the street. They're closed right now, or we sure would.
Yes, they closed at 3 today on a Sunday. So.
But we had a good time hanging out here for a few hours.
We did. We had a great time checking it out, and glad you all came along with us to check it out, learn more about the history here. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you.
Especially if they like stuff like this.
Yes,
and Western North
yes.
Carolina, Smoky Mountains, and we're broadening out some.
Yes, and just giving you historical places and fun resorts and places to visit. We'd love to have you as part of our community here on YouTube, wouldn't we?
We sure would. We're enjoying the new Class B van, and it's taking us some
Yes.
places with Big T that normally we couldn't get to.
That's right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, we're Fridays.
Forever. Bye-bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
We gotta go check on Big T. Let's go.
Yes.
You wanna go with us? Let's go see how he's doing.
I hope he's asleep. He hasn't slept hardly any today.
You think he's asleep?
I hope he is, but I don't know that he is. He's going to sleep.
I hear him barking. Where you at, buddy? He's up there driving the van. I don't see him.
Last 2 times for check time.
Look here. He's up here. What are you doing up here, buddy? Huh?
Everybody, bye.
Bye. So bye. I've been a crazy boy today. I've been everywhere.
Hey guys, we also wanted to tell you and mention that if you're staying in the area, like in Marshall, at that hotel, the historic hotel, you might think, well, where's there places to eat? Well, there's lots of places in Asheville, which is only about 10 miles away or so. There's lots of restaurants there in just the whole general area. And another place we've eaten at in Weaverville, North Carolina, is called Stony Knob Cafe.
And that's just about 10 miles from Marshall.
Yeah.
And Asheville's about 20 miles from Marshall.
Yeah, so they're fairly close. So we just wanted to throw that out there for you.